Hello and welcome to this edition of Behind the Story with Business Today. Very simple question. Why would anybody care about a company that's less than 2 crore in revenues? Employs 2,200 plus people. Well, we're here talking about housing.com, which has been in the news very frequently lately, particularly because there has been some issue with the CEO himself, Rahul Yadav. And we have done a story in this issue, in the latest issue of Business Today. This is what the story looks like. And the story has been done by my colleague, Assistant Editor Taslima Khan. And we'll just find out from Taslima what is the big deal about this company and why is everybody so taken up with this young CEO. He's just 26 and he makes a lot of money.
So Alokesh, housing started off on June 7, 2012. So it's barely a 3-year-old company. But they shot to fame with a map-based search feature. As in, if you entered 2 BHK apartments on Mira Road, Mumbai, all such properties that suited your search criteria would open on a Google map, right? And then you could click on each one of them to get the location of the property and a lot of pictures on the properties for you to pick and choose from. So this was revolutionary if we look at how online search used to be. Also, there was and there is a genuine problem in terms of verified properties. Housing started with the business of verified properties, right? So they have a big team of 500 data collectors who would go around visiting these properties. They would click all the pictures. They would collect data on as many as 100 data points, and all this goes through some back-end checking before it goes live on the site. So within a few months of launch, they raised funding from as many as 8 angel investors. Then post that, in a couple of months time, Haresh Chawla, the CEO of the Network 18 group, he invested in the company. And post that, Nexus Venture Capital, Helion, which is a major fund in India, and then last December, SoftBank decided to invest in the company. So the total amount of funding these guys have raised is $121 million, which is far higher than the closest competitor this company would have. But what triggers our story at this particular point of time is ever since March this year, housing has been in the news for all the controversial reasons. As in, it started with it all started on Quora when an email sent by the company's CEO Rahul Yadav to one of the investors, Shailendra Singh of Sequoia Capital. That was an angry email addressing Shailendra as dude that leaked on Quora, the popular question answer website. And even the email evoked a response from Shailendra. So Rahul had accused Shailendra of trying to poach certain employees in the technology team of housing, and Shailendra Singh did give an explanation to that. So it started from there, and then there was an email from Rahul to all of the company's employees dismissing competition. That and the latest one, which is Rahul pledging all his shares to the company's employees at a town hall in a Mumbai hotel. So the story begins with this instance, which was the most recent of controversies. Actually, I would say that these controversies didn't prompt me to write the story. The real prompt was why it is important, why such a young startup CEO being in the midst of controversies is important for me to write a story on. And I think it's important because a lot of these young guys, Rahul is barely 26, and a month ago I met a startup CEO who was roughly 21, and he started his company while he was 18, and this guy is giving a tough fight to the established companies in this space, and he is also raised sizable funding. So quite a few people in their early 20s, they are starting companies right out of college without any experience of what is a company like structure, how a company runs, what's a workplace like. These guys are starting companies and they are also attracting huge funding because of mostly these are tech startups, and the technology is what is attracting capital. But the question here is, these are young, immature guys, and are they really prepared to handle this kind of a hype, media hype of course, that comes along when a company raises funding, and also how to handle growth that becomes an imperative when you have raised $121 million. So one of the things against Rahul Yadav is that the company has, under his leadership, the company has blown away about 100 crore in insane advertising. So if you've driven around Delhi NCR, you can almost find the huge hoardings with their newly launched logo, Look Up, almost every nook and corner of the city.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Right. So apparently this is not a very well verified figure, but this is what is doing the rounds, that they have blown up 100 crore out of the investor money. This is of course not the revenue of the company, because as per the data we have from the registrar of companies, it's a barely 2 crore revenue company. Right, so such a bit of cash burn happening without any accountability in terms of what is the ROI of the money that you are spending. Right, so apparently investors were not happy with that, and he is retained as a CEO. He resigned. One of the things was that he resigned, calling investors intellectually incapable of doing their jobs. And then there was a board meeting following which he withdrew his resignation. Right, so investors for now have retained him, but the inside thing is they're still looking for a CEO. But as you know, it's very difficult to find a replacement for a young startup which is still in the product development stage. They are still building on the product. The product is yet not developed, right?
Also, it comes to light that Rahul Yadav apparently is a very highly skilled technical person.
Yeah, in fact, that's the most allocation. I would say that is the most startling thing that I came across throughout my reporting. So I spoke to a number of very early stage investors in the company who know Rahul from the very early days. I spoke to some of the very young ex-colleagues of Rahul who know him from his apparently from his quota days or so, know him from a very initial stages, and almost everyone seems to be a fan of Rahul.
Okay.
So one of the investors who spoke to me off the record, and he was one of the early investors, I asked him, my question was, is this the same Rahul that you had understood while you put in the first check? And he said, yeah, he is the same.
Okay, so
he is not changed. He is not changed. He is the one, and I'm quote unquote, he is the one who will not conform. He will always question the status quo. He is different. These are the things I have heard about him. Not a single instance of an ex-colleague or an existing investor talking to me against Rahul. So they are totally even off the record, even off the record. So everybody is totally convinced about his capabilities. And one investor who goes on record, he says about Rahul that when he met him first, that was around February 2013. Yeah, February 2013. And he says that this was my first meeting with Rahul, and what he told me is that he was completely blown away by his energy of this guy, and he said, I'm building the Facebook for India, and it will be as big as it will be the Facebook of real estate, something like that. And his inclination of doing things fast, the way he thinks, is like has made investors write quick checks. So as I write in the story, somebody told me off the record that this Network 18 CEO wrote him the check just after a dinner meeting with Rahul Yadav. Most of the ideas in terms of what the consumers want and what we want to give the consumer is Rahul's idea. So he's completely irreplaceable. Yeah, so it's a dilemma whether to replace him or to he is still CEO. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
What is your sense from your reporting? What really are the big challenges this company is now facing going ahead?
Yeah, so
Apart from handling its CEO.
apart from handling its CEO, of course. Now, for a very young product stage startup, I think one of the things is keeping the company together, right? One is that the company has burned such a lot of cash that not much remains of the money they had raised. Okay, so how long will that last? And given the CEO's reputation, which investor is going to come back showing faith in the company again, and how soon will that happen? All these are questions which housing needs to answer. So the key question is why Rahul is important to today's startup ecosystem in India, which is very happening as well, is whether youngsters are capable of, whether they are mature enough to handle the money that they raise.
So there you are, interesting time, and people like Rahul Yadav, maybe initial stumbles, and hopefully he'll go on to bigger things and create Facebook of India. Not a bad idea. This is a story that you really must read. It's called The Mind of Rahul Yadav. It's written by Taslima Khan. It's in this latest issue of Business Today, which has Kishore Biani of Big Bazaar on the cover. You must really read this story. It has a lot of depth and a lot of research. You'll really know what kind of person Rahul Yadav is and what he is planning. Thank you.